LaMelo Ball has blossomed into one of the most electrifying young players in the NBA. This season, he's averaging a ridiculous 31 points per game, 7 assists, and 5 boards. Since arriving in Charlotte, LaMelo has turned this mid-market, non-exciting franchise into one of the most entertaining teams in the league. LaMelo has been going off this season, and he's doing it by playing his brand of flashy and exciting basketball. It's been awesome to watch LaMelo dominate the highest level of basketball the same way in which he did as a teenage sensation at Chino Hills. So today, we're gonna see how it all came to be. We're gonna recap how LaMelo rose to stardom by understanding how this unique and electrifying play style translated to all levels of basketball. Let's get into it. LaMelo was born in 2001 to LeVar and Tina Ball. We all know LeVar. He claimed to be a great football and basketball player. He was good enough to play basketball 1 year at Washington State, even though he averaged just 2 points per game. And after his college basketball career was over, he decided to give football another try. LeVar played on some minor pro football teams and even had a few stints on some NFL practice squads, but never got his shot in the big leagues. But once LeVar was past his playing days, he had one focus in mind, and that focus was to have 3 boys that would all become NBA players, and he could only do it with a woman that met his athletic and genetic standard. That's where Tina comes into play. Tina is 6'1" and played college basketball as well. LeVar's plan was perfectly in place, and once he had Alonzo, LaAngelo, and LaMelo, he began training his 3 sons in basketball as soon as they could start walking. Usually when 3 boys play together, the oldest child is usually the best. The middle one is trying to catch up with the oldest one, and the youngest one usually tries to just be good enough to hang with the big boys. For LaMelo, this narrative was exactly the case, and it was the main reason he evolved the way he did. With LaMelo being the youngest son, he had to play a few grades to be able to play with his older brothers, and that experience forced him to adapt and compete against older competition. As LaMelo moved into high school, the Ball family became household names in the basketball community. The 2016 Chino Hills basketball team starred all 3 brothers and Hawks forward Onyeka Okonkwo. The team would go down as perhaps the greatest high school basketball team of all time. They went 35-0 and beat plenty of top-tier private high schools, although the Chino Hills roster consisted of all homegrown from the town. As a freshman at Chino Hills, LaMelo was a supporting scorer and shooter in a high-tempo system led by his older brothers Alonzo and LaAngelo. He primarily contributed as a spot-up shooter, showcasing his impressive range and fearless confidence. Though his passing was secondary to Alonzo's primary ball-handling role, LaMelo displayed quick outlet passes in transition. Defensively, his slight frame and lack of focus were evident weaknesses. But despite these shortcomings, LaMelo used these years to build a fearless approach to the game, and it set the tone for his early basketball identity. It would be hard to follow up the greatness of 2016 the next season, especially with Lonzo gone, but Lonzo's departure opened up the door for LaMelo to have a more featured role. While they didn't go undefeated, they were still so dominant that they just messed around on the court. In one game, LaMelo drained a half-court shot 5 seconds into the game. Later, he tricked his own teammate by standing up and calling for the ball when he was on the bench. When his teammate passed it to him, he kicked the ball away and laughed. In another game, he scored 92 points in a game, mostly by cherry-picking. Despite all the trolling, it was clear that LaMelo had enormous potential. With Lonzo gone, LaMelo took over as Chino Hills' primary scorer and playmaker during his sophomore year. He dominated the offense, leading to highlight moments like his infamous 92-point game. While he showed an increased willingness to drive to the basket, his shot selection heavily leaned on deep 3-pointers. His passing style evolved into a flashy but often inefficient mix of high-risk, high-reward decisions. Defensively, his minimal effort and lack of discipline persisted, exposing a major area for growth. Despite the criticisms, LaMelo's confidence and offensive output kept him in the national spotlight. With the Ball brothers' continuing popularity and Lonzo's success in college, LeVar became more and more vocal online. He famously said that Lonzo was better than Steph Curry when Lonzo was in college.
You think he can be as good as Steph Curry in the NBA?
Heck no! He's gonna be better than Steph Curry in the NBA.
He repeatedly claimed that he would beat prime Michael Jordan one-on-one and famously doubled down on that statement on ESPN's First Take with a now infamous argument with Stephen A.
We talk about the GOAT here, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, and you running your mouth talking about you gonna beat him one-on-one. Why would you say something so blasphemous?
In my heyday,
blasphemous.
He would need help.
Really?
He's too small. His name is big, and y'all like, it was a 5-on-5 game, he good. One-on-one, I'm undefeated, never lost.
Will you stop it? Don't
Never
apologize
lost
on TV.
one-on-one.
That don't make any sense. Listen.
Ain't nobody beat me in heyday one-on-one.
LaVar started his own clothing brand, the Big Baller brand, and made signature shoes for all of his sons. Many criticized LaVar for using his son's talent as a marketing scheme for his new brand. And though I'm sure that LaVar always thought he was doing what was best for his sons, some of his decisions impacted LaMelo's future. By making LaMelo a signature shoe, LaVar violated the NCAA's rules about amateur status. This meant that LaMelo at the time lost his college eligibility. Therefore, with the loss of Melo's eligibility and LaVar being unhappy with Chino Hills' new coaching hire and administration changes, he decided to pull LaMelo out of high school before his junior season. The next move LaVar made was to take LaMelo and LaAngelo to play professionally in Lithuania, playing for the basketball club Prine. LaAngelo came to Lithuania after getting indefinitely suspended from the UCLA basketball team for stealing in China, so LaMelo had some familiarity with his criminal brother coming along for the ride. LaMelo's stint in Lithuania was a significant challenge, as he struggled to adapt to a structured professional system. Playing mostly as a bench player, he found it difficult to score consistently against stronger, older competition, and was often relegated to a spot-up shooting role. While there were glimpses of his playmaking ability, his immature decision-making and defensive lapses were frequently exposed by disciplined and much older European players. This experience, though tough, marked an important step in his basketball education, teaching him the value of structured and disciplined play. While LaMelo didn't shine much in the Baltics, he did gain a lot of experience playing pro ball at such a young age. Before the end of the season, LaVar pulled him off the team because he didn't think the coach was giving LaMelo enough minutes.
Why you not starting the boys? Nah, that ain't gonna work. Playing one at a time is just bull.
LaMelo averaged 6.5 points per game in 12 minutes for Prine. This brief stint in Lithuania was the nail in the coffin for any hopes of Ball playing college hoops. Since he had gone pro, his amateur status was definitely gone, and it was a question of where he would play next. Later that year, another wonderful idea of LaVar's came to fruition: the Junior Basketball Association. Meant to be an alternative to college basketball, LaVar created the JBA to allow players to play professionally and be paid before they go to the NBA. And the face of this new league was none other than LaMelo. The JBA featured 8 teams from cities across the country. LaMelo was the star of the Los Angeles squad. LaMelo had a crazy season, averaging nearly 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists, and leading his team to the championship. Needless to say, the competition in this league was not great. While LaMelo is great, he should not be averaging a 40-point triple-double in a quote-unquote professional basketball league. As it turned out, this would be the one and only year of the JBA, as it has never scheduled another season. Many players in the league claimed they were never paid, and thus they threw away their chance to play college basketball for nothing. In the JBA, LaMelo was the star attraction, dominating a league created by his father, LaVar Ball. He carried the majority of the offensive workload, thriving against weaker competition. His scoring and flashy passes were on full display, particularly in transition, where he shined as a playmaker. However, his defensive effort remained minimal, as the competition level allowed him to focus almost entirely on offense. The JBA served as a confidence-building period, allowing LaMelo to showcase his creativity and regain momentum after his struggles in Lithuania. After the JBA, LaMelo returned to high school for his senior year. He showcased a more mature and polished version of his game at Spire, becoming a true team leader. This period marked a significant turning point in his development, as he blended in his trademark flair with a newfound sense of control, purpose, and overall maturity in his game. Offensively, LaMelo maintained his ability to hit deep, NBA-range three-pointers but balanced it with an increased willingness to drive to the rim. His improved body control and creativity around the basket made him a more versatile scorer, capable of attacking defenses in multiple ways. As a playmaker, LaMelo's court vision and basketball IQ were on full display. He orchestrated Spire's offense with precision, making not only flashy highlight reel passes but also smart, efficient decisions in half-court sets. His ability to involve teammates elevated their performance, showing a more team-oriented side to his game. This growth in decision-making reflected his increasing understanding of how to control the pace of a game, a skill that would later translate to professional play. On the defensive end, LaMelo still had noticeable lapses in effort and focus, but his physical growth and improved instincts started to make an impact. Standing at 6'7" with an even longer wingspan, he began to use his length more effectively to disrupt passing lanes and contest shots. While he wasn't yet a lockdown defender, his improved defensive presence hinted at his potential on that side of the ball. Perhaps the most notable aspect of his time at Spire was his leadership and maturity. Having already experienced professional basketball overseas, LaMelo brought a level of experience and confidence that set him apart from most high school players. He became the centerpiece of a nationally recognized team and consistently performed under pressure against top competition. His ability to blend individual brilliance with team success showed his evolution into a more complete player, silencing some critics who had questioned his maturity and commitment to the game. By the end of his senior year, LaMelo's performances at Spire solidified his reputation as one of the top prospects in the world. Although LaMelo was 18 and graduated high school, he was not yet eligible for the NBA draft as players needed to be 1 year removed from high school. And while we mentioned before that LaMelo lost his college eligibility, his only option was to go back overseas, and this set the stage for his transition to play professional basketball in Australia. LaMelo would sign with the Illawarra Hawks in Australia's NBL. The NBL was a transformative chapter in Melo's career, and it solidified his status as a top NBA prospect. As the centerpiece of the team, LaMelo thrived in the structured yet fast-paced environment, displaying his ability to adapt to higher levels of competition. His time in Australia not only solidified his status as a top NBA prospect, but also showcased significant growth in his game, particularly in decision-making and adaptability. Offensively, LaMelo displayed his electric and exciting brand of basketball, but demonstrated a level of maturity behind it. He was extremely versatile and demonstrated the ability to score at all three levels. While his jump shot remained inconsistent at times, he compensated with an improved ability to attack the rim, using his size, agility, and creativity to finish through contact. His ball handling and change of pace were instrumental in breaking down defenses, allowing him to penetrate and either score or set up teammates. His floater became a reliable weapon in his arsenal, complementing his dynamic scoring ability. Despite his sometimes streaky shooting, LaMelo's confidence in taking difficult shots kept defenses on edge. What truly set LaMelo apart in the NBL was his elite playmaking. He consistently displayed advanced court vision, delivering pinpoint passes in transition and half-court settings alike. Whether threading no-look assists through tight windows or orchestrating pick and rolls with poise, LaMelo's ability to elevate his teammates was evident. His decision-making, while not flawless, showed marked improvement as he learned to balance his penchant for flashy plays with a more disciplined approach. This blend of creativity and maturity in running the offense hinted at his potential as an NBA-caliber point guard. Defensively, LaMelo began to take strides, though this remained an area for further growth. His improved effort and focus were apparent as he utilized his 6'7" frame and long wingspan to disrupt passing lanes and contest shots. While his fundamentals and on-ball defense were still developing, he showed flashes of his potential to be a disruptive force on this end of the court, particularly when engaged. LaMelo's time in the NBL also prepared him for the physicality of the NBA. Competing against grown men who tested his endurance and physicality helped him refine his body and mindset for the next level. By the end of his season, he was awarded the NBL Rookie of the Year despite missing games due to injury, underscoring his dominance and influence on the court. His performances in Australia silenced many critics who doubted his ability to compete at a professional level and solidified his position as a top pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Going into the 2020 draft, many thought he would go number 1 overall. Despite the unconventional path he took, many scouts and analysts viewed him as one of the top prospects in the draft. His size, ball handling, court vision, and scoring ability made him an exciting prospect for NBA teams. But when draft night came, it was not his name called first. The Minnesota Timberwolves selected Anthony Edwards with the first pick in the draft. They were followed by the Warriors, who also passed up on LaMelo, drafting James Wiseman. So LaMelo Ball had fallen to the Charlotte Hornets, a franchise that has never achieved anything. LaMelo was their new hope. Could he be the one to finally lead Charlotte to the promised land? Upon entering the league, LaMelo's rookie season was nothing short of spectacular. He quickly became one of the most exciting young players in the NBA. His dazzling passes, fearlessness in attacking the rim, and ability to orchestrate the Hornets' offense made him an instant fan favorite. LaMelo's playmaking ability was the highlight of his rookie year, but his scoring also stood out. He could hit deep threes, drive to the basket with precision, and finish in ways that left defenders stunned. In his first season, LaMelo was named NBA Rookie of the Year, cementing his place as one of the most promising young stars in the league. As a rookie, he averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. LaMelo Ball had officially arrived in the NBA. In his second season, LaMelo upped his averages to 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. He was even named as an All-Star injury replacement as he made his first All-Star appearance filling in for the injured KD. But the Hornets were still bad. Each of his first 2 seasons, the Hornets made the play-in tournament but were eliminated in the first game. Despite LaMelo's improvement, they were still bad. And the Hornets would remain bad for the next 2 seasons. This is because in the 2022-23 season, LaMelo would break his ankle, sidelining him for the rest of the year. And he was also injured in the 2023-24 season as well. LaMelo would play a total of 58 games across those 2 seasons. Despite not staying healthy, LaMelo was still increasing his stats gradually. But by the start of this season, LaMelo proved all the doubters wrong and is playing like one of the best guards in the league. This season, LaMelo has been unstoppable. He's averaging 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. His 31 points are second in the NBA right now, and he isn't scoring in the traditional fashion. He's hitting ridiculous step-back fadeaway threes, finishing circus layups at the rim, and toying with his defenders like he did back at Chino Hills. LaMelo has been playing with a nonchalant, seemingly careless attitude that has never been effective before in the NBA. With his electrifying play on the court and his larger-than-life personality off of it, LaMelo is not just chasing greatness, he's already redefining what it means to be an NBA All-Star. As of right now, it's not translating to wins, but the Hornets are still rebuilding. If Charlotte can put the right pieces around LaMelo, we could be in for a legendary team just like 2016 Chino Hills. In the years to come, it's likely we'll see LaMelo Ball continue to evolve into one of the NBA's biggest stars, inspiring the next generation of players and creating new opportunities both on and off the court. Whether he's leading the Hornets to the playoffs or making highlights that go viral across the globe, one thing is certain: LaMelo Ball is a name that will be remembered in the history books. From the most infamous high school sensation of the social media era to a bona fide NBA star, LaMelo Ball's story is one of the best ever written. And hopefully he can add a few more chapters before he hangs up his jersey for good. But what do you think about LaMelo Ball? Is he the real deal? And can he keep this level of play up for the rest of the season? Let us know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this one. We'll see you in the next one.